well, yeah. So thank you for joining me. So today we're talking to Lorna, and we're going to talk about this course that she just put together that we're advertising through the platform. And basically, just tell us a little bit about how you built your social media presence. Tell us what you do first and how you were able to build that social media presence.
Yep. So thanks for having me. I am first and foremost a canine massage therapist. That's how I started this journey, and that was about 3 years ago now. And then from there, I just kind of snowballed with learning stuff about dog health, and I've done loads of courses in conditioning and exercise, laser. Um, but yeah, one thing that I found was I didn't really know how to market myself, both online and for like in person. So I I never do anything by halves. So I deep dived on everything, podcasts, audiobooks, everything you can imagine to learn a bunch of different strategies. And then I would take the little bits that were relevant for me and use them. And then some things worked and some things didn't. And I also really struggle with there's never anything made for pet businesses. All the marketing is for skincare brands or other marketing professionals or like business coaches. It's really hard to find an example, even of like a dog walker or a doggy daycare that's really common, let alone bodywork, which, especially in New Zealand, is still like kind of on the rise. Lots of people are still finding out about it. So, yeah, so I really did a deep dive, started using the things that I knew. And then I would talk to other business owners on social media and they would say the same thing, like it's really hard. How did you get followers here? How do so many people engage with that? And I would tell everyone, listen to this podcast, do this, and like do this to your content. And then so I thought, I'm going to put it all in one place and then everyone can see it and you don't have to listen to 100 books like me. You can just use the bits that actually work for you. And yeah, I made like a real community out of it. And I also found the things that I enjoyed were the things that worked, right? So I think it's the same as your job. If you really love what you do, then you tend to be a lot better at it, right? So
Definitely.
I really loved Instagram and the community that was on there of mainly dog owners for me. But yeah, so because I loved it, it started to go really well. And then that made me love it more. And then we snowballed. And now I've kind of got to a nice pace where I don't spend hours on it anymore. I've got really quite efficient at like scheduling and making things and putting it out there to be so I now don't have to do anything for a week kind of thing. And that also makes me like it more
Yeah,
because it's not
definitely.
as
Yeah.
much work.
I've gone through the course, and there's definitely a lot of information in there. So if somebody does decide to take it to help build, their social media presence and build their practice, there's a lot of information. So you really do have a lot of really valuable insights because you've done it. So tell us, how many followers do you have now?
I think I have 32,000 at the moment. And everyone's always like, wow, how did you do that? And honestly, I just had a few different reels go viral, like 20 million people like viral. And I live in New Zealand. There's only like 4 million people in the whole of New Zealand. So that is crazy.
Hmm.
But yeah, really, that's how it started. And then when that happened, I was like, well, how do I utilize that for those people to be an actual part of my business rather than just liking a reel and then continuing on? So then I kind of deep dive into that. And then there's more of that in the course as well, how to turn just followers into actual clients or, customers.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty cool. So what have you seen in terms of your business getting busier since you've gained more followers? Have you been getting more appointments? Are you selling online courses? How are you?
I would say the majority download. I made an app. I also made an app. I'm not very technological, so it sounds very fancy that I made an app. But I used an app builder, built this app, and it's got exercises, stretches, massage, things like that for dogs, for dog owners. And I think the majority of people that engage me on social media jump into the app because it's free to download. So it's like, no, no ties for them. If they don't like it, they don't have to use it. And then from the app, when people have found value in that, that's when I've got more paying clients or online plans. And I don't do online courses too much because I guess they're kind of online courses already in the app. Um, but I do online tailored plans and stuff like that. So I've definitely got some more clients through that. And now even locally, because the other thing is social media is everywhere, right? So loads of my followers are in like the US. Even last weekend, I go to like a dog market and people were like, "Oh, I've seen you on Instagram," and everyone knows me and my dog. I mean, I don't know who they are.
That's pretty cool.
And
Yeah.
or you know people's dogs' names, but you don't know who they are because of their social medias. So yeah, it has been really cool. And yeah, all of that was like a little bit of work and then total accident, and then I just kind of played into it and went with it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I actually had a video that went viral recently too. I was out teaching a workshop in Arizona. It was a very short clip of me doing ANMR, which is animal neuromyofascial release technique, a course that I teach. It was like a 5 second clip of me doing it on this horse, so they don't really get the whole context of it. But it mostly went viral
Yeah.
because a lot of people thought the horse was really cute, and then other people were like, "What are you doing to that horse?" So it was
Yeah.
like, so it's kind of funny, but it does at least bring attention to what you're doing, and it provides you with an opportunity to educate people on what it is.
Yeah. Since that, having a couple of viral reels. One of them was my German Shepherd biting my hand because she gets really sore in her back, and so she kind of mouths me. And what I did find was that that video probably didn't help me. People just argued in the comments, same thing. They didn't really understand it, so they had an argument about it before they took the time to read the caption.
Hmm.
But I find that it's the smaller reels where like it's your regular followers and your actual little community. Those are the ones that are the most value for you, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
So
The
yeah,
ones, the
everyone
ones
says
that are
like, I want to go.
educating. Hmm.
Yeah, definitely. And people get actual value out of that and then they save it and they can use it, which is what I would prefer it to be anyway. I'd
Yeah,
rather be of
definitely.
value to someone.
So, what do you think is the number one challenge people have when they're trying to start off on social media?
I think it's probably overwhelming and they just don't know what to post, where to post. But I do think that once you kind of get started, you get into your flow, and then that is kind of where you start to ease into it a bit more and it becomes easier. I think the hardest thing is, yeah, probably starting. And
Yeah.
lots of people don't want to be on camera. But I always say to people, no one's looking at you, they're all looking at the dogs.
Hmm.
If your dog is doing something cool or an exercise, no one's watching you anyway. And then people
Yeah.
feel a bit easier about it.
Yeah, that's usually the case. But one of the things I like in your course is that you do give a lot of just suggestions about, here's something you can post about, so you do have a lot of that in there, which is nice because I think it just gets people's brains going so they can either use
Yeah.
what you said or use something similar to it. And then they can kind of think like, oh yeah, this got responses, so I can do something similar to that next time.
Yeah, definitely. It's just that starting point that you need, and then you'll flow on from there.
Hmm. Yeah, well, I think that's all pretty cool. Is there anything else you want to tell people about? Like, so if we have some of our students that are thinking about taking the course, because I know a lot of people, that's the biggest thing, is they want to be an animal body worker. They do the whole, course and the certifications and their case studies, which again, that's one of their biggest hangups is being on video. So I guess that's good practice for them doing their case studies. But
Yeah.
so they do all that, and then they're like, okay, I have my certificate now. So how do I get these clients? So
Mhm.
what would you tell them about as far as like taking this course, which I think we've priced it extremely reasonable, especially for people that have already invested a lot in their education? There's no reason why they shouldn't just jump in, learn the material, and try to implement it.
Yeah. And also, it just takes another weight off if you feel like you know what you're doing. But also, I also find that my social media is like another reassurance for people. So when people look at your business, they look at things like Google reviews, right? To see what people have said about you. But if you're brand new and you don't have that, social media is a really good place for them to go and see you doing demos of an exercise or a massage technique or, a Reiki session with an animal. And that again is them thinking, oh, okay, so she maybe does know what she's doing. And there is value in this. And I can see how it would help my dog. And so it's also like a bit of social proof for people, before you have all those client reviews and stuff. So I definitely think it's good for that too, especially if you're new. You don't need a
Yeah,
million followers.
yeah, I think nowadays too, people just kind of they want to feel like they know you before they commit to something. So on the social
Yeah.
media, you can definitely introduce them to you and they can kind of get to know you, your personality, how you do things, how you work with the animals, and then they feel like they already have this connection with you before they even come to the appointment.
Yeah. And it's funny because people often say to me, like people worry about Instagram being polished and perfect, but like people don't really want that anymore. They want to see real people. When we got a puppy recently, every day I would post of him like, this is what he's destroyed today. Today's woken up and tries and
Mm.
violence against my shoe or something like that. And people would send me messages to be like, thanks so much for posting this because we have a puppy too and it's doing exactly the same
That's
thing.
funny, yeah.
And I was like, yeah, just totally relatable. Like I have a reactive dog. I have a dog that barks every time I don't want it to, you know? I have a dog that's got hip issues. It's nice to see other people that are relatable to you. And I would hire, like, if you go to the doctor, I would go to a doctor that knows more about those problems. So it's really relatable, right? It's more you're more trustworthy as well, I think, to people.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I definitely do think that that's the case. So, would you say that if people take this course, they can implement it on other social medias as well? Like
Yeah,
Facebook,
definitely.
TikTok, whatever they might be on?
Yeah. And also, there's a part of it in there where you can use the editing app to make the videos. So you just make it and then you can post it to everywhere rather than make one on Instagram, make one on TikTok, make one on YouTube. There's an app in there called InShot, and you can even change it from like portrait to landscape for YouTube and stuff like that. So it also takes all of that time out of doing it, which
Yeah.
is another thing. I think people just think, oh, it takes too much time. I can't be bothered. But yeah, so there's loads of guides on how to do that as well.
Very cool. Yeah, well, I hope everybody will check out the course. We're going to be launching it, so I'll have the link here below this video so they can check it out. What I usually do, and I'll probably do it with this too, is I'll do a free preview so they can watch the first part of it for free, and then they can decide if they want to go ahead and commit to it. But
Yeah, great.
I think, no, there's nothing to lose. I think anybody who is in the animal bodywork world, and even like you mentioned, even if it's not bodywork specific, you could be doing animal nutrition, you could be dog walking, you
Yeah.
could be, doing a number of different things, and it would apply, to horse people as well. Lots of good suggestions in there on how you can build that social media following and hopefully build your practice.
Yeah.
All righty, but yeah, anything else you want to close on or let anybody know?
No, I think that's everything. I really hope that you get value out of it. And you can send me a message anytime with questions. I love talking to people about this. It's like the only thing I talk about other than dogs. So it would be great to hear from anyone as well if you have questions.
Great. And if they want to follow you, how do they find you?
We are Wellington Canine Bodywork on Instagram and Facebook, and Welly Canine Bodywork on TikTok. Yeah, Instagram's where I hang out the most. Come and find me there.
Very cool. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.